Tripping on acid changed our whole perspective.
So you can imagine, my dear, I have a somewhat unique perspective on the Borg.
You got a sick and twisted world perspective.
Well, it's all a matter of perspective.
Speaking of perspective.
Basic instinct will lines unfold, guiding artists both young and old.
So guys, unless you're some sick, twisted freak, perspective is pretty much the least appealing thing when it comes to sitting down and summoning those lines onto the paper. It's dry, tedious, and pretty much the closest thing to math that there is in the artistic realm. At the same time though, if you get the hang of it, you kind of feel like a god. When properly applied with artistic purpose behind it, perspective is what separates the Liefelds from the Da Vinci's. Perspective's always been a major weak point of mine, so by creating these videos, I'm hoping to up my game in that department and hopefully help some of you along the way. Now, as a first step towards artistic godhood, let's have a look at where everyone starts, the 1-point perspective. And to build a solid foundation, we'll go through 3 steps. The basic setup with the horizon line and the vanishing point, laying down the perspective grid, and how to use the perspective grid. Okay guys, let's start at the very beginning, namely the basic setup of the 1-point perspective scene that we want to lay down. So the first thing you're going to want to do is establish the frame, or if this is a comic book, maybe the panel inside of which your scene is going to take place. Next thing you're going to do is lay down what is called the horizon line. So this is the horizon line, and what it is really is the eye level of you, the observer. So this line follows your eye line wherever you go, whether you're standing on top of a tall building or low to the ground. The horizon line is going to follow your eye level, and whatever is under the horizon line, you're going to see the top of it, and you will see the bottom, the underside of whatever is above the horizon line. Okay, so far so good. Next thing you're going to want to establish is your vanishing point. The vanishing point, this thing, is where all lines converge, the lines that go towards the horizon, like that kind of extend out into the distance towards the horizon line, they all converge onto this vanishing point. And there's only one in this case because we are dealing with a 1-point perspective. So just to give some examples here, I'm drawing one side of a road. It goes towards the vanishing point. If I want to draw the other side of it, that goes towards the vanishing point. And if I want to put a dotted line down the middle, that also converges toward the vanishing point. Good, so we have this set up. Now let's draw some 3-dimensional objects here. And now is the time to mention that in a 1-point perspective setup, horizontal and vertical lines, so namely width and height, you depict with perfectly horizontal and vertical lines. If I want to draw a box and I want to draw the front of it relative to us, the observer, we draw the width, we draw the height, complete the shape, and this is the front side of the box. See, it's perfectly straight horizontal and vertical lines. Next, we want to give this box some depth, make it 3-dimensional. So we're going to take these corners here, and we are going to connect them to the vanishing point. These are lines that go further along the z-axis, so they connect to the vanishing point. Now we have to decide where this box ends. So let's say this is the back of it here. What we need to observe is that this line and this line are the same length. It's just that the back one looks shorter because it is further away from us in three-dimensional space. So now we're going to connect this corner to this corner following our blue guideline. Here we go. Same with this and this. And here we have the top of the box. It's underneath the horizon line, so we see the top of the box. Next, we have to draw this side, but on the back side of the box. So that line goes down vertical like this, and where it connects with the guideline, we connect the two corners. Here you go. We just drew a three-dimensional box in one-point perspective. Let's draw another one, maybe a different shape. This one I'm going to make it narrow and tall. Here we go. Never mind the janky side here. Doesn't really matter too much. As before, corner to vanishing point, corner to vanishing point. So the back side of it. Here we go. And then follow the guidelines to connect the corner. See? And now since this box is going above the horizon line, we do not see the top of it. It's hidden from us. Okay? This looks all good and fine for very, very basic stuff where you want to draw boxes or whatever in one-point perspective. You have what you need here, but it's not enough, because here's the problem. What if you want to draw this box, but further out and to the side? Maybe you want to draw it here. So this, you want to be the same as this, but somewhere else in your three-dimensional scene here. Here's the question. How do you do it? How do you make sure that this here is the same as this? Well, for that you gotta lay down what's called a perspective grid, and to do that you gotta do a couple of extra steps here that we're now gonna get into. So let's zoom out a little bit. What you're gonna want to do is draw a line that goes straight down from your vanishing point. In two-point perspective, it's not going to be a vanishing point, but in one-point perspective, we're going to use the vanishing point. So you have a line going straight down. Next, what you want to do is draw a circle that is centered around your vanishing point and encompasses this frame here that you drew before. Okay, this circle represents what's called the cone of vision. Okay, the cone of vision represents the field of view, I guess, or the area that your eye can kind of focus on and see things properly. And everything that's going to be within your cone of vision is going to look right. You know, it's going to look proper with your perspective setup. And everything else outside of it, as soon as you cross this line, things kind of start getting funny. They get distorted into shapes and lines that kind of don't look right. So you're going to want to stay inside your cone of vision here. Unless as an artistic choice, you want to do stuff that happens like here to convey a message or a feeling or whatever, that's all fine and good. But regardless of what you want to do, you need to establish this cone of vision here, and it needs to encompass the area that you want to draw your scene. So it's pretty important. And it's also going to serve as a way to find something called the station point. So let's find that point first. Let's go through the steps, and then I'll briefly explain what it's supposed to be. Okay. What we're going to do is we are going to draw a 60-degree line passing through this point here, where the circle for the cone of vision intersects with our horizon line. So here you go. This here is 60 degrees, and this intersection point is going to be our station point. I'll go briefly over what the station point is supposed to be. It doesn't really matter what it's called or why it's called that or whatever, what it represents. Really, it's a means to an end, as we'll see. But the station point is essentially, if you imagine a person here looking out at, I don't know, a ball or something, and between them is an invisible glass, I guess, panel or something. The observer is looking at the box through this glass panel here. This glass panel is called the picture plane. So this person, when they draw, they're going to draw this ball as they see it through the picture plane, and the distance between this person and the picture plane is represented by this distance here. It is represented by the station point, how far along it is, this line here. So that's what it is. That's why it's called the station point. It doesn't really matter. The important part is that you establish the point. Call it a station point. Call it chocolate cake if you want. Doesn't matter too much. Like I said, it's a means to an end. Now that we have our station point, we need to establish what's called the 45-degree vanishing point, or I think it's got another name, but I don't really care to look it up. But the point really is the following. From your station point, you are going to draw a line that angles out 45 degrees. Draw the same thing on the other side. Well, looks like it's slightly off the page. doesn't matter. So this here is the 45-degree vanishing point, and same thing for this guy. With this, now you're going to be able to set up something called the perspective grid. And the perspective grid is what's going to solve our box issue earlier in terms of drawing the same box but at different spots in our scene here. So what we need to do now is lay down the perspective grid. What we're going to do is we're going to draw a horizontal line somewhere near the bottom of our panel. Then what we want to do is establish a unit of measurement. So let's say you want your unit of measurement to be feet. Well, you got to establish how long a feet is in your scene. In this case, centering around this blue vertical line here, I am going to establish this as being 1 foot in my scene. This is 1 foot. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to just connect the two corners of my unit here to the vanishing point. And now I need to repeat this process for this entire purple line here. So I've marked each point along the purple line, each segment measuring 1 foot on my picture. And now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to connect those measurement points to the vanishing point. Here we go. That is done. So now we have one side of one half of each square traced out, but we need to know where along each line we need to draw a line here, like the horizontal part. Is it here? Is it here? I mean, who knows? You can't really just know by guessing. So to draw a square, you're going to use these 45-degree vanishing points. The 45-degree vanishing point is the vanishing point for all the diagonal lines going across one corner to another on each square. Here I'm going to draw a square. Okay. And this red line here that I'm drawing, this red line going from one corner to another, this line has its own vanishing point in our scene, and it's this one here. And then the other line going corner to corner diagonally also has its own vanishing point, and it's this one here. So for each square in our grid, it's going to have its own sort of diagonal lines cutting across the square and going towards the 45-degree vanishing points. So just to take an example, I'm going to go from here. I'm going to connect it to my vanishing point, and then since we know that this red line goes from corner to corner, this means this intersection point, that's where we're going to draw our horizontal line. Here we go. And then same idea here. You have an intersection point. That's where the line goes. Look, here's another one. I think you get the idea. Now, I've run out of intersection points along this this red line, but hey, it doesn't matter because the vanishing point for the diagonal going in that direction is going to be the same for every square in my grid. So here, let's take something further out and let's connect it to the 45-degree vanishing point. See? It intersects here, here, here. So we know we're on the right track. So here again, got another intersection point. Okay, so I have my grid here on the ground, and this is going to be enough for me to solve my problem earlier. So let's say, all right, I'm going to draw a box. It'll be 2 feet wide and I don't know, 3 feet deep. So now using this grid, I can be nice and precise. So here's the bottom of it, 2 by 3. Okay, and let's say I want it to be, I don't know, 1 foot tall. All right, so I draw a 1 foot line. I mean, if you're working with pen and paper, you can just use a ruler to do what I'm doing. But basically, I'm just gonna rotate that line 90 degrees. Here we go. So this is 1 foot height. Let's now trace over it in black. Go up. Let's complete the shape. All right, as before, let's use a blue line to lay down the guidelines. So this is going to the vanishing point. This is going to the vanishing point. And now we're going to bring this line up, connect the corners like before, using the guidelines. You want this line to be horizontal. Let's use the ruler, why not? And we're going to connect the 2 lines with the guideline. And let's just erase this, 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 and this. Here we go. So we have our base box. But now I want to draw the same box, but maybe somewhere around here. Okay, so let's do the same thing. We know that it's 2 feet wide and 3 feet deep. 2 feet wide and 3 feet deep. And we want it to be 1 foot tall. Here we go, 1 foot tall. Let's draw the horizontal line, vertical line, guidelines. And let's draw the bottom of the back of it, horizontal line. Next, from this corner, we're going to go up until we intersect the blue guideline. Here we go. Use the guideline to connect the 2 lines. Follow the guideline from that corner. Connect the corners with a horizontal line. Let's get rid of the excess lines here. This one. This one. Here you go. Thanks to our perspective grid, we know that this box is the same as this box. And if I wanted to draw it in this area here, there you go. I can draw that box pretty much anywhere in this scene. And the same applies with people, furniture, you know, buildings, whatever it is. You can use the perspective grid to measure things out and then draw the same thing somewhere else, or if you know that something is supposed to be half the size or a third or whatever, you can just use this grid here to get the job done. As I'm sure you've noticed, perspective tends to be pretty dry with lots of rules and whatnot. And all the practicing you'll need to do, it may help to take a moment to draw something that's a little more organic and fun. I've got the perfect video for that right here. Check it out if you want to learn how to draw a human skull. And until next time, keep drawing.